good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another Monday Morning Art Talk. Whee!
Hi guys, so today before we get started, just wanted to let you know and remind you of the character design workshop and drawing party at Titmouse Animation Studios, which is happening on November 16th. So you're in town, you can stop on by that evening course. That's gonna, the drawing, that's gonna be a free thing. The full day workshop is a full day workshop, character design workshop that I'm doing in Burbank. So you can look at the information below and check it out. All right, so today what I wanted to talk about was complacency. And complacency, more so when you're comfortable. I think this is something that when we get a job or when something happens or we're doing something and we've sort of hit that mark where we strive for it. It was a goal, it's what we wanted to do. And then all of a sudden, you get complacent. All of a sudden, you start to get comfortable. But what you've noticed, if you've gone through it already, and I'm sure many of you have, where you get to that level and you start to go, I don't know that this is so good anymore. This is what I thought I wanted, but it's not so good anymore. So the reality is just because you become comfortable in something, just don't feel that you gotta stick there. This is where people never move on and never really evolve. And this is a hard thing to sort of deal with because that's what we're always striving for, right? We always want that comfort. We think that's what we want. We want to get to that place where we're, hey man, we've made it, we've done it, we're comfortable now. But I want to tell you and challenge you, but by doing this, and a lot of you, I'm going to refer to the animation industry because a lot of you will get into the animation industry, the entertainment studio, game studios. And this is where you sort of sit. And you know what happens when you sit too long in one place and you're not moving? You become just stagnant. You become moldy, right? Just like water. If it sits there too long and it's not moving around, it just turns into this smelly, moldy poop. And that's what you don't want to be. You don't want to get into the smelly, moldy poop stage. You gotta keep challenging yourself. It's one of the things that I did when I was working in the animation studios. I started in the animation studio back in 1997. For some of you, maybe it was before you were born. And I was in the studios and it was great. And I enjoyed it and I loved it and I was doing it. I learned a lot, made a lot of great friends, great experience. But after so many years, after about 20 years, it wasn't even 20 years because I've, let me see, how many years has it been now? So almost about 10, 11 years ago is when I made the decision that even though I was comfortable and I was getting my weekly paycheck and I was in the studio, I mean, I wasn't really comfortable because I wanted to get out. I knew I wanted to do something else. I knew that I wanted new challenges. I knew that I wanted to do something new. So I made the decision at that point to not work in the studios anymore. Not listen to what I'm saying, not work for the studios, but not work in the studios. I didn't want to be in-house anymore. I didn't want to be there, not because I hated it and I was miserable. I just kind of was wanting new challenges. I wanted to do more of my own stuff. I wanted to try different things. And that's what sort of is always going to be the driving force, even with your own artwork. This happens a lot when you get extremely comfortable drawing a certain way with your style, and then you become stagnant and you become complacent within your work, that you're not growing anymore because you're not challenging yourself anymore. You're not doing that life drawing anymore. You're not doing the sketching from observation anymore. You're not going to the coffee shop anymore. Why? Because I'm comfortable. I got my job. I'm doing what I'm doing. Now there's a danger, extreme danger in that. And one of the things that I recall happening when when I was at Warner Brothers, I was going to life drawing every single week, and it's something that I kept up and I kept going for. And it was a free thing to attend to, and a lot of the other artists, when they first started it, they would all show up, but about 3 weeks into it, they stopped going. All of a sudden, what happened, and I've told this story many art talks ago, but they canceled the show. There was a show called Hysteria on Warner Brothers, and they canceled it. There were a lot of people. And so everyone was scrambling. Why? Because now they had to put together their portfolios. Things that they neglected. They weren't working on their portfolio anymore. All they had to show for their portfolio was the designs that maybe they were working on for the show itself. But then that just becomes one style. They're not necessarily showing a variety of other things. Again, this was before Facebook and Tumblr and the internet and all these other things where you're almost forced to kind of keep doing new stuff. And I remember when the show got canceled, everyone came back into the life drawing session to try to think that they could build up their life drawing chops within a couple of weeks to put in their portfolio to show. And that's not how it works. The reality, the most important thing is to constantly keep challenging yourself, to keep working on things that you're going to constantly be adding to your portfolio, because your portfolio never really ends. It's one of these things that keeps having to be developed. Sometimes you're going to pull some of that bad stuff out. Sometimes you're going to replace it. Why I say sometimes is I found a lot of the times, sometimes keeping your old stuff in there can benefit you, because there's certain show styles which are pretty crude and not really up to par, or maybe people are wanting a certain style that you've done in the past that maybe you can manipulate, that you can not manipulate, but maybe you can redo again and mimic that sort of style that you created long ago. So I want to say to you that if you're in that place where you truly want to move on and progress, it's about challenging yourself even when you're feeling extremely comfortable. And that's a hard thing to do. That's a hard thing to wrap your head around, I know, but I'm telling you, nothing lasts forever. So wherever you are right now in your field and you're feeling so good about it and you're feeling so comfortable about it, things are going to change. You're going to experience that layoff. You may not even be your choice, but you're going to get booted out that door. Otherwise, times are just going to change. Things are going to evolve, and people might even not want what you do anymore. So what are you going to do to sort of evolve and change that? Once again, it's like what I talked about last week with the flat tire effect. You having that flat tire, you got to have that spare tire. You got to have something else in your pocket that you can sort of jump into when these times sort of change. But just for your own sanity, why you got to challenge yourself to do something new and not just do that same sort of thing you've been doing the whole time. Maybe you have a certain style in your design where it's very, I don't know, flushed out, constructed, Disney-esque, however you want to call it. But another show where you struggled really drawing very simply. Well, challenge yourself to learn to draw extremely simple, and vice versa. Maybe you draw very simple and this is your thing, this is your style. Okay, that's fine. But know that if you just have one style in the entertainment industry, you're limiting yourself to the potential of working multiple jobs, because you're becoming comfortable with that, therefore becoming complacent, and you may have that certain... My apologies, this is cutting in. I got cut off with a phone call, so I'm not sure where I kind of led off here. But I believe what I was saying was just even with your style, just knowing that you need to adapt. So maybe you draw very simple. It's important to learn how to adapt and draw in another style. Again, this entertainment industry is so rampant with so many different looks and so many different ways to draw and so many different styles. It'll behoove you to try to focus and improve that. So don't get too comfortable with what it is that you do. Force yourself to try to improve upon that. That should be a goal of yours, to have this new challenge, and just for yourself to keep moving ahead. And you guys, if you haven't worked in the entertainment industry, I am telling you, I am guaranteeing you, I am promising you that it is not everything that it's cracked up to be. You think that this is the end-all be-all. I was just listening to a documentary by the music group Chicago. If you guys may be familiar with them, maybe not. Great band. They had their heyday. They were great. Peter Cetera, all these other guys they went through. But they were talking about where they were just so like, oh my God, we've reached the pinnacle. They're sitting on the plane and they're sitting next to Jimi Hendrix and they're just like feeling like they've reached the top, and Jimi Hendrix is trying to tell them, guys, listen, even though you feel like you've made it to the top, I guarantee you're going to be riddled with problems. There's going to be things that are going to pop up, and it's not all that it's cracked up to be. You're going to sense depression. You're going to have loneliness. You're going to have all these other things that are going to occur. And just like, hey, love to be in your shoes. Can't wait for that to happen. Well, many years back, now they're recording that story and they go, everything Jimi Hendrix told us was true. Man, did we go through some crazy times and turbulent times and trouble and depression and all these other things came from thought of what they wanted, what they wished for. So the lesson was, be careful what you wish for. The point is, you want to wish for things. You want to act on things. You want to make things a reality. You have to have these wishes. You have to have these dreams because it drives you. It pushes you somewhere. But I think the lesson in all this is just be aware and know that it's not going to be what it's cracked up to be. And the only way to break through this is to constantly challenge yourself along this journey and know that you're on this journey and that there's no one destination and that it's going to keep going into different places. So just what I'm trying to offer you is just the awareness and the challenge of yourself to move yourself to that next direction, that next place, because whether you're feeling complacent right now, again, this complacency, you could be here for the next few months, you could be there for the next couple years and still thinking, hey, this is still fantastic. I just want to encourage you to have that back tire, that spare tire in your pocket. Just be prepared. And if you're going through this, and again, speaking from experience, if you're going through this place of just feeling a little down and out and feeling a little, depressed may be the word, but I don't know, that can be a harsh word sometimes. Just challenge yourself to the next thing. Move on to the next thing that you're going to do in your life, whether it's that book you have in your back pocket that you want to do, that convention you've always wanted to set up at, that other client you wanted to try to go for, that next job outline you're trying to veer for and attain. Do it. Just don't wait around is what my point is here, all right? So thanks again for watching. I greatly appreciate it, and I shall talk to you guys next week. Take care.
Mentorship. In a sense, what I want to do is just talk to you, meet you, tell me about things that are happening in your life, see if there's anything that I can do to help you. I can look over your artwork, do your portfolio, and just maybe try to push you in the right direction that you want to take your life and your journey, alright? So you can go to silvertunes.com, go to classes, click on mentorship, and you can learn all about it. We can try to arrange a time, set up a date, it doesn't matter where you live in the world, and I just wanted to make it just very affordable, just to open it up, because I love doing this, I love meeting people from all over the planet. It's a really cool thing, and with this technology, why not? So that's it, thanks.
Whoa! Hey. Go back. Go back. Great, go back. Go back.